Hey everybody, it is Prince's Friend, and I am back with another cool review for this week. It's been actually a little bit since I've had a review for you. I've been doing mostly top 5 videos and outtakes and all kinds of stuff, but I'm actually back and I'm excited to be here to bring you the review for The Undertaker. So this was from Prince and the MPG. It was pretty awesome, and it was during the whole he changed his name sort of thing, right? So basically, the entire CD is just Prince on guitar and vocals, Michael B on drums, Sonny T on bass. And it was recorded in just one take, and it was a rehearsal session in 1993. And it was meant to be released as a special bonus to Guitar World magazine. But that didn't happen because Warner Brothers came in, they blocked the release, covered all of the copies that hadn't been released yet in like a plastic coating so that you couldn't play them. A few copies did get out there though, which is how obviously we're able to listen to it today. There was also a live recording that was videotaped too. It was later released in 1994 under Prince, even though it was supposed to originally have been released under the love symbol name that Prince had. Obviously, it's a super hard to find CD. You can't really buy it just through any regular retailer, and pretty much today, digital is going to be the way that you're going to be able to listen to it now. There is also a VHS, which was the live recording of everything where this came from, but that's going for over $100 on Amazon. I did see a few people who had it on YouTube, so if you look up Prince Undertaker, it may or may not be there at the time that you are watching this video. It is there today, but it might not be there tomorrow because obviously that's stuff that is copyrighted and might not make it to tomorrow. That's kind of the funny thing about Prince stuff on here. It's pretty cool because this was one of the few albums where Prince did a cover, and that's not something that we usually got a lot of from Prince because Warner Brothers didn't like him to do a whole lot of covers. Also, Poor Goo and Undertaker from this album were both previously unheard songs, and then in 2001 they were released to the MPG Music Club, so those people who weren't able to get this were able to get that. But I think it's pretty cool, and I can't wait to go through these tracks with you, so let's go ahead and do that.
I know the way.
So personally, I have 4 versions of The Ride in my collection. The best part about The Ride is that all of them are live. Prince never recorded it in a studio because it's just not where that song lives. Similar to Gonna Be a Beautiful Night, which got the same treatment, it's a live song only, and it kind of works better that way. The version here of The Undertaker is pretty good. Its lyrics are switched up a little bit from the Crystal Ball version, which is the one that a lot of people are used to, and the guitar solos are more bluesy than rock and roll. You can tell it's a rehearsal too, since he's not doing any screams or growls, and he's not really going crazy like his kind of signature to The Ride. But all in all though, it's a pretty good version of this track. So Poor Goo is a great showing of how Prince used to write songs for people he knew. In this case, the track is named after Paisley Park studio engineer James McGregor. From what I can gather from the lyrics and how it's put together, it's about a guy who has a habit of picking up prostitutes. Of course, Prince doesn't say that outright, but it's definitely implied. I could be reading too much into it, but, you know, that's what I got from it. But let me know what you guys think. What is Poor Goo about in your mind? Then we get to, again, that cover that I was talking about, Honky Tonk Woman. It's funny because Honky Tonk Woman is not one of those songs that I actually, like, know a lot. But as soon as he starts singing it and he gets to the chorus, and then you're just like, gimme, gimme, gimme. Like, you know the song, even if you've never, like, heard it before, because you've definitely heard it before. It just might not have been, like, in your radar. It's kind of funny that way. Like, I didn't really realize that I had that much Rolling Stones, like, in my bones. This is a cool version, too, since Prince goes into his falsetto a lot during the chorus, really makes the song his own, and I bet Mick Jagger and Keith Richards liked it. I'd like to think they did.
Watch this.
So this is the first time that Prince has recorded a live version of Bambi, which is pretty damn awesome, actually. It's got some epic guitar work in the track, even better than the original, and Michael B. and Sonny T really add their own funk to this song, whereas before it was kind of a pop rock kind of thing, but it kind of adds a little bit more like into it on this version. Prince shows that even his classics hold up and stand the test of time when they're played later on, definitely. That's one of the great things about Prince, too, is that all of his music was him, and you could throw on any Prince album from any era and it feels current, and I think that's really the genius of his work. So at the time that this was released, no one had heard this guitar riff. It's actually the intro to Zannalee. He doesn't actually get too much into the song itself, but it's noteworthy that as an introduction of things to come, this is pretty awesome. He doesn't stay here for even a minute, like I think it's like 45 seconds before he gets to the headliner, which is The Undertaker.
Put away the gun for future sake. Don't you be another number for the Undertaker. Mercy. Calling mercy.
Now you'll remember that Mavis Staples covered this song on her album, The Voice, and I did a review of that. I'll make sure that there's a link somewhere. Her version was stellar, and in my opinion is actually even better than this one. But Prince, Michael B, and Sonny T, they ain't nothing really to mess around with on this version either. It's damn good. It's a song about getting rid of guns and saving the children of the future, but this version kind of lowers the tones of the whole thing and comes off a little bit more haunting than the call of warning and the gospel-y version that Mavis gave us. It's a crazy good track, though, that I think everybody should hear.
As a dolphin, you listen to me then. Would you let me be your friend? Would you let me? You can turn off all my things like you.
And then the EP here ends with Dolphin. And the biggest thing about this version of Dolphin, which is a song that the public hadn't heard yet, again, because the Gold Experience wasn't out at this point. So that's actually really amazing. This was the first version of Dolphin that was released. But for me, there's like that guitar trick at the beginning, the mimic sound, the womp 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 womp. And I always thought that that was Tommy Barbarella on the keyboards making that sound, but it was Prince on the guitar, and that just made that even better. It's because I didn't really know what the sound was coming from. I like the sound, but I didn't know. I like the rest of the album. I think this version is a little bit slowed down. It's a little bit bluesier than the version that we end up with on the Gold Experience, but I dig it, and I think it's a good song to go ahead and end this little EP on. The Undertaker is one of those weird experiences, because you're listening to it, and you're like, this is amazing, and then you remember that this is Prince rehearsing. There are performers today that don't sound this good when they are going balls to the wall and being as amazing as they can. And Prince, like, ate this stuff for breakfast, and it just oozed out of him. And even when he's just rehearsing, and he's not even putting that much effort into it, it's still amazing. Hands down, The Undertaker is really awesome. I'd probably give it 4 out of 5 stars. I wouldn't say that it's the best thing that he's ever done, but it's definitely up there, especially since it would have been cool to have gotten it for free. Not that I was a subscriber to Guitar World magazine, but I think that it's already showing that this was where he was starting to figure out different ways of distributing his music. And yes, Warner Brothers blocked it, but he ended up doing this later on with other albums. So this was the first kind of taste of him starting to do his alternate distribution. So what did you guys think of The Undertaker? I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. Don't forget to follow us on all of our social media, and may you live to see the dawn.